So I have not made a video on this channel for a while. What I'm going to be going over today is a testimony with evangelizing with the Miraculous medal. Something I try to do. Now, if no one knows what the Miraculous medal is, it looks like this. I try to hand them out on these chains, and I try to give them out when the opportunity arises. Fortunately, I've not done the best when it came to it because I did not know what I was doing, because I would just kind of hand these out to people anytime I get the chance and make an opportunity or force it into place, which didn't work. And I guarantee a lot of them probably did force to get thrown away, but at least I learned from my mistakes. But one thing I didn't want to say as well is this is going to be a video after a while that I've made, because I feel much better, a little more recovered from the OCD or scrupulosity. So I think I may be able to start making videos again, but I still got to be careful because I don't want to make the same mistake I did last time and put out misinformation that was not true. But in today's video, as the title suggests, it's just going to be the story I have with the testimony of evangelizing with the Miraculous medal. So let me just begin. So it all began, I'm trying to think when it was. It was Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. When this happened. And so I was going to confession on Tuesday. I was scheduling an appointment at my local church in order to get a confession with a priest, which managed to work out. And I was first debating whether or not to even go to confession, just because I was kind of feeling conflicting feelings about it, because since I deal with scrupulosity, a lot of guilt comes from nothing. So there could be a reason why, well, there's no point in going to confession, you don't have any mortal sins. But there's one thing in particular that I thought I should confess because I couldn't figure it out. It looked more to be an actual sin, so I went. Thankfully, when I got there, the priest wasn't already doing stuff, or he wasn't there at the time, but I managed, thankfully, to catch up to him as soon as he pulled into the parking lot, asked him to hear my confession. He did, and so I was able to confess my sins afterward. This is where everything comes into play. And as I'm going to the main church where there's still people, I walk to the very back of the church and I go to my pew to do my penance as he assigned me. And as I'm going back to the back row, there's a woman sitting down there in the back who was asking me where the bathroom was, which I had no idea, because I don't know the place. Well, I'd assume it was in where I was, because it was kind of in the back area of the church where the priest's office was and all that. And I simply told her that I had no idea. And she told me that she was visiting here for the first time, so she had no idea what she was doing. And so when I heard that, I thought in my head for a second, I was like, she might not be Catholic, or she might, well, never been here before. For a moment, I thought she might have been homeless, but yeah, that could be not true at all. Could just because of how, I don't know, she was wearing one day. I have no idea. But as I did that, I went past and kneeled and began to pray at the beginning of my penance. I believe it was when I started saying my first Our Father, because I was assigned a particular penance, and one of the prayers was an Our Father. Yeah, it was during then. There was this prompting of grace that what really stuck out to me is that what I was being called to do seemed possible, which was to give her a miraculous one, because I had one of these on me. The original intention was to give this to another person I knew, because he had one, it broke, and so he was asking for another one, so I was going to give it to him if the chance arose that day. I'm not going to go in detail about that, but this is just for this. And so I had it on me, and then as soon as I was done with the penance, I think the lady left the building, and so I immediately followed after her, and I saw that she was already way ahead. And so then she went into the main building at the church, but next to the church was another building. It was kind of I'm not really sure to describe it. But that's where I assume the bathroom was, because she went there, and then I was debating whether or not giving this to her, giving it to the other guy, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And so later on, because like I said, there's a lot of little details in this, I'm just going to be kind of going over it and being specific. And afterward, when she was coming back out again, I was waiting for a period of time. I was debating whether or not just leaving, because I don't know how long she took, or she already left the church in general and went somewhere else. But no, I saw her. She came out the building. She was walking this direction. And then I thought, okay, this is the perfect chance to ask her if she would have this. So I walked up to her, middle of my pocket, and when I came back, greeted her again, she was like, oh yeah, I found the bathrooms. And so then what I did was I think I mentioned, again, if I remember correctly, that it was her first time here. Like, oh, this is your first time here. And I told her I wanted to give this to her. Then I showed her the miraculous medal that was in my pocket and gave it to her. And I didn't even say anything else. I just say, here, pretty much have this. And so then she looked at it and then said that she would cherish the medal. And so it really struck me the fact that it was the really strong thing was the prompting of grace, which I mentioned earlier when I was doing my penance. And what I felt then, like I said, it came to me immediately. It was very quick. My task was impossible, and this was definitely, because I shared those other people from the Virgin Mary, definitely. Because like I said, I'm redoing a consecration to her in this one called Preparation for Total Consecration to the Immaculate it's St. Maximilian Kolbe's version. You can probably buy the pen. I've showed it on this channel before, but I've deleted the video. But because I'm in the middle of that currently still. But it was during that time where I had this prompting of grace to give it to her, and it just seemed, I don't know how to describe it. Like I said, it was easy to do, and it seemed possible. And so I knew that this was definitely from the Holy Spirit or whoever prompted me to do it. And so that's what happened. I mean, it's an amazing thing that did happen, and it's a very joyful thing as well, knowing that you're being used by God to evangelize other people, especially through the miraculous medal. And if you don't know the story behind the miraculous medal advice, looking up for yourself, it's a very, very nice story, and what happened after the medals were produced, and other people have testimonies as well with it. But for me, it's just the way of evangelizing, because I try to give them out. But this has been a long time since it's just really been like a true prompting of grace to tell me to give this to someone. And so if anyone else is wanting to give up miraculous medals, I'd heavily recommend that you also give it a try as well. But like one thing I will recommend is do it in the right, I would say, opportunities they arise, and pray beforehand. I can't just say, oh, follow my advice, because like I said, I don't want to give misinformation. I don't want to make that same mistake twice. But like I said, just try. I want to say try, but just try to research with evangelization what to do and how to do it correctly, especially with the miraculous medal. I have people pretty much, I would fear, have their own methods when it comes to that, but I can't say anything for certain. But yeah, that is really it for the story. I hope people did like the story of what I said. Hopefully they can get something from it as well. Hope for their evangelization as well. So, I mean, that's pretty much about it. Nothing really else to say besides, if you don't know about the miraculous medal, like I said, search it up. Very unique story. Go into the history about it and like the symbolism of the miraculous medal, like what's on it and everything. And then yeah.